We're looking at the text block control. So starting from the Repeat Signage Designer screen, I'm going to click on Insert and Text Block. By default, it just allows you to type in some text. So hello from text block control. Now, this is rich text, so what that basically means is it works the same way as a word processor does. So I can double click on particular words, make them bold, double click on a word, change the colour, etc. So this is the difference between the text label control. The text label control, even though you can actually specify fonts, etc., all of the text gets exactly the same fonts and sizes, etc. But with the text block control, you can mix and match. So that's my text block, and I can just resize as I need it. Now if I do resize too much this way, it automatically text wraps for us. So let's just look at some of the basic options. So if I double click on the text block, we do have this option here for background, picture or colour. So we'll just have a quick look at that. So I'm going to choose a background colour. And again, if you've seen previous videos, we've got solid colour, gradient colour and pattern. Now a solid colour is like white. I can say just change that to a solid yellow instead. Or if I select gradient, I can actually gradient between two different colours. So for instance, instead of having this black here, I can choose, say, turn that into orange, and that gives a nice sort of like a sunset effect. And the third option here is pattern, where you can just apply sort of a pattern as the background instead. I'm just going to leave that on gradient because it always gives that a nice effect. And OK. So there's my preview. And when I click on OK, that applies to the background. I can also specify a background picture if I wanted to as well. So exactly the same tab, but I put a tick in this box, use a background picture, browse, and I'm just going to select one of the sample files that comes with Repeat Signage. So let's go for this house for no apparent reason. So there's my preview and OK, and that applies a background picture. That's a little bit squashed, so I'm just going to resize that slightly. Right, the other options, obviously if you're resizing, you're just dragging this around, you can apply a fade to the entire control. So it's like in this box here, if we just typed in 50, then that would fade the entire control, and whatever's underneath it would also display through. So we'll just put that back to default. You can, same with any control, you can apply a shape, so we can do a rectangle rounded, which just gives us a nice effect on the top. And there's various other ones there. If I double click on this, you can see we do have lots of different tabs and lots of different options. One option is, instead of typing in text manually, you can take it from an RTF file, which is a rich text file. So let's just have a quick look at that. So if I change the where is your RTF located, so instead of typing it in manually, I'm going to select from a local file. I'm just going to browse, and I'm just going to select one of these sample files that come with Repeat Signage, so say attendance, and OK. So that's now taking that text from that particular file instead. I can double click on this. We'll have a quick look at playlists. So that's this tab here, or I can use this button, use a playlist instead. So that automatically drops my first entry into the list. And let's say I'll add from this computer. I'm just going to select a couple more of these RTF documents and OK. Or I could click on the add button and just type in some more text. Some more text. So now I've got a playlist of all these different files, and by default each one of them is going to be playing for 5 seconds each, which is taken from this value. But you can do things like double click on a particular file and set its own particular background colour, play type. Instead of using the default, I can say that one's going to be 10 seconds instead. So there are just a few options with the playlist. Okay, so when I set that going, what it will do is it will display each one for about 5 seconds. And there we go. So that's just a really quick overview of the text block control.